You will hate India. You will marry your first cousin. You will never learn to read. At the age of 6, you will be sold for the price of a moped. What country is this? This is Pakistan. How is this possible in the 21st century? Today we will answer questions about this reality. Is it true that school textbooks here teach children that Hindus are cowardly and cunning, and wars with India were victories, even those that Pakistan lost? Why is the army here not just defenders, but the country's largest corporation, owning factories, farms, and shopping centers? Is it true that in Pakistan you can get a death sentence for a WhatsApp message? What does justice look like in a country where a raped woman must bring 4 male witnesses? Otherwise, she herself will be accused of adultery. Is it true that textbooks teach hatred? Yes, and it's not just an exaggeration. In Pakistani schools, history is not a science, it's a weapon. From the first grade, children are indoctrinated. The Hindu is your enemy. In official textbooks approved by the government, Hindus are described as cowardly, cunning, and treacherous. Do you know what the scariest part is? It's the total denial of reality. The wars of 1965 and 1971, which Pakistan objectively lost. In one of them, the country actually split in two and Bangladesh was born, are taught in schools as great victories of the Islamic spirit. Why is this necessary? It's simple. When people live in poverty, they need an external enemy so they don't start looking at their own rulers. If you believe from childhood that demons live across the border, you will forgive your government for any corruption. You become an ideal soldier, but a lost human being. Why does the army own shopping centers? In any normal country, the state has an army. In Pakistan, the army has a state. This is not a joke. The Pakistani military is the country's largest oligarch. The military conglomerate Fauji Foundation owns everything, from cement and fertilizer factories to farms, banks, and luxury shopping centers. They produce the cornflakes you eat for breakfast and build the houses you live in. It's a brilliant and terrifying scheme. Why should generals protect democracy if they control up to 10% of the entire country's economy? When the army is a corporation, war or the threat of war simply becomes a business plan. Is it true that you can get a death sentence for a messenger? Unfortunately, this is a harsh reality. Pakistan has some of the world's strictest blasphemy laws. In the digital age, they have turned into a tool of the Inquisition. In 2023, a young man was sentenced to death for distributing blasphemous materials on WhatsApp. In another case, a woman received 20 years in prison for a social media status. Often these accusations are used to settle personal scores. Quarrel with a neighbor over land? Just say he desecrated the faith in a chat. An angry mob can lynch you even before the police arrive. The state has effectively legalized the mob's right to kill, hiding behind religion. Your phone in Pakistan is not a means of communication, it's a potential death sentence in your pocket. How does the rape law work? And perhaps the darkest circle of this hell is women's rights. For decades, the hudud laws have been in effect in Pakistan and partially continue to influence through the courts. Imagine, if a woman was raped, according to old norms, she had to bring 4 adult Muslim men as witnesses to the act. Think about this absurdity. Who rapes women in front of 4 witnesses? If there are no witnesses, the woman's statement was often treated as a confession of adultery, sex outside of marriage. Instead of imprisoning the rapist, the victim was put in jail. She could be stoned or lashed for the evil committed against her. A woman here is the property of the family or clan. When the law tells a victim, "Shut up or we will destroy you for your own tears," it is a society that has lost its human face. This makes Pakistan one of the most dangerous places on earth to be born a woman. Why will you never learn to read in a country with nuclear weapons? There are 22 million children in Pakistan who do not go to school, but the most cynical part is the ghost schools. On paper, there are thousands of educational institutions in the country where the state allocates billions. In reality, these are empty concrete boxes. In these buildings, local landlords keep their cows or use them as warehouses for manure. Teachers receive salaries from the budget for years, but have never once entered a classroom. Illiteracy is not an accident, it is a tool of control. It is profitable for the local elites, waderas, for the population to be unable to read. A person who cannot read a newspaper or a law does not know their rights. It's easier to manipulate them through the mosque or television. Why is the tradition of marrying relatives stronger than common sense? More than 60% of marriages in Pakistan are unions between first cousins. In some villages, this figure reaches 80%. Why does this happen? It's not about love, it's a cold calculation. In Pakistan, there is a system called biradari, clanship. If you give your daughter to a stranger, part of the land or family capital leaves the family. To keep the wealth inside, families have been crossing their genes for decades. Pakistan is a lesson to the whole world. A lesson about what happens when hatred of a neighbor becomes more important than the well-being of children. When traditions turn into chains and religion becomes an excuse for cruelty. This is the reality of millions of people whose voices are drowned out by the roar of military parades. You have watched this video to the end. Now you know the price of the lottery of birth. Value your freedom. Which of the 4 facts we discussed today shocked you the most? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's discuss.